Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox All in channel, host Sega Forever here. Man, I'm already starting off. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Hold on one second. Let me adjust this real quick. Here we go. So the interesting thing about, as you guys may or may not know, I don't have the full suite of StreamYard. I just didn't feel like it was worth it anymore. I mean, it's pretty cool to have a bunch of people, or be able to do a podcast, and you have as much people as you want to being on the podcast and participating and stuff like that. But like I said, a lot of things have changed over the last couple months, and then I got really busy to the point where I was just looking at my StreamYard saying, I'm not probably not going to do as many videos as I used to do. Even though I'm trying to ramp it up on my channel, it is a bit hard because I'm just pressed for time and then money, dude. I know a lot of you guys, and I haven't really talked about this on my channel, and this is not the video for it. But I definitely will start doing that a little bit more. We're going to start talking about the economy. And the economy, when it refers to gaming, definitely can do that. But the economy in general. In fact, I just saw a lot of um, videos that I was looking at, and I wasn't able to get the video out this week, but I'll definitely do it next week. Right, when they're talking about the global economy and stuff like that, because there's just so much misconceptions about that kind of stuff, right? So it's something that I can share on the channel and give my opinions like I normally do. But again, sorry about the background noise, man. It is very um, animated this morning in my neighborhood, mainly because of the birds and the chickens and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, here we are once again. Um, Sorry, I'm just doing a format adjustment. I'm doing this now because I want to keep the video actually, or start the video at 8 o'clock. Because I've been up, guys. I get up early in the morning, and again, it is Easter Sunday, so happy Easter. Definitely a blessed day. It's been a blessed weekend, man. It's interesting to me because this whole weekend, dude, it's been good. Especially if you're a Christian, you see a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world. You see a lot of people, it's just basically revival, right? And a lot of people acknowledging the presence of God in their life. So if you celebrate like I do, happy Easter if you're a Christian. Definitely a great day. It is the resurrection of Jesus. That's what we celebrate. And dude, I'm a Baptist, dude. We get up, we do our stuff early in the morning, and I think some people are still asleep. Um, but again, it's a good day. But I wanted to do this video because I haven't done anything in a while. It's probably the only day I have that I'll be able to do something and put it out there. I don't know if the guys will be able to jump in. I know everybody's busy. Um, I know a lot of people's days are in full swing right now. But I'll just throw out the feelers out to the crew. See if they want to jump in. Just give me some time. We'll just talk a little bit, get some stuff out of the way, and 8 o'clock hit the ground running. Because there is a lot of cool stuff going on with Xbox that I want to acknowledge. But then it also begs the question, man, of the direction that Xbox is going in, and that's what the video is going to be about today. Because you see a lot of it, like even with myself and the channel that I have, Pro Xbox channel. There's a lot of people over the last year and a half. For me personally, the last like 6 or 8 months, especially that was not sure the direction Microsoft with their Xbox brand was going. Then Asher Sharma comes in and flips the script, and this is where we are right now, and that's what we're going to talk about real quick. So also wait for the chat, man. Hopefully some of the people jump in. Again, that's my fault, right? And I understand that. I'm not a big channel, but because I'm not as consistent as I should be, right? I just do times that I can. That I'm all over the place, and people might see it, they might not, and jump in the comment section. It'd be cool if they did. And again, we're gonna keep it Xbox, guys, right? In this podcast, because that's what I really want to talk about. But let me bear with me, man. We'll start in a couple minutes as I ramble on. See if I can get this stuff out to the boys. Oh man. I usually send my stuff out on Twitter, or X as they call it now. But X has been changing quite a bit, and I was actually I had a blue check mark because I wanted to support what Elon Musk was doing on X. And what I mean support, like the dude's rich. He doesn't need any of my money. But it's the principle of having free speech, which I think is important, right? But the problem with having a blue check mark, man, was I didn't realize, and I talked about this on other videos, right? I did not realize the drama that came with that. And it was pretty bad. And I think they're trying to address it right now. Um, because at the end of the day, let me send this paste. Because at the end of the day, man, there's a lot of people that were doing it to get, to grow their channels, of course, money, all that stuff. And I had no idea what it was like on Twitter like that. And it's just also overwhelming because some people just want to, have discussions with you and stuff like that. And I just don't have the time. So I felt a little bit bad about that. So then when it came for my renewal, man, I was gonna do it, but I was like, you know what, I can't do it because they totally blew up my messages. That's why I have a hard time sending stuff to you guys. And actually, I have to use different social media posts or social media sites to reach everybody. So it became a bit of a hassle, man. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let me try and send this to see if Sega Man's up. Shout out to Sega Man, dude. Sega Man is like the most consistent person I know online, which is cool, man. Because on social media, dude, you never know how truly people are. And when they find out, you're kind of like, oh, dude, I didn't know this person was like this. Well, hopefully some of the brethren can come in. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, guys. If not, we'll just roll it with this. Again, this is not planned out. I just kind of did it just because I had some time. Again, I did want to talk about the crossroad that Xbox finds itself at right now. And it's interesting because it seems to be, is it 8 o'clock? Yeah, we can dive into it. Oh, 8 o'clock on the nose. Okay. But it's interesting to me that Xbox seems to be going back to 2016, 2017. As they're going back in time to that era when Phil first took over. A lot of the stuff that Phil said. And the interesting thing about it, when I listen to people's commentary, at least the people that I trust when it comes to Xbox, some of the stuff they were still doing, right? It's just that it got kind of lost in the weeds. I talked about this on my other channel. I don't want to rant today, but I talk about narrative and perspective, right? Which something, because Xbox definitely lost that. Phil and crew definitely lost the narrative, and it's showing right now, right, with a lot of the stuff going on with Xbox as they start to change course, basically like a Back to the Future type of policy. They're going back to 2016, 2017 with their focus and what the Xbox brand is and should be. And it's refreshing, right? I mean, and it's a reminder. And the sad thing about it is Xbox was doing those things, but they just took their eye off the ball, in my opinion. Right? And again, and I don't have a problem with this, just not to get it twisted, but I don't have a problem with this. They picked the path they wanted to go down the path. Right? I don't have a problem with them making that choice. My problem is, of course, being an Xbox gamer, like how that affects me. And I tell you guys that stuff all the time. Again, never gonna leave Xbox, right? Because I can't. I can't leave Xbox. Right? This is where I planted my flag, and this is where I'm gonna stay. With that being said, when they do stuff I don't like, I'll say that. Right? That's what me and the fellas say all the time, and we do. And that's why when people call us shills, that doesn't have any effect on us because we know we're not. We like gaming the way we like gaming, and we like certain things about gaming, and certain things we don't like about gaming. In fact, sometimes we have disagreements on that as well because everybody's different, right? So for me, man, it's how, and I know, like I said in previous videos, man, when I talk about this kind of stuff, it comes off kind of selfish, and it is, right? Because at the end of the day, it matters to how I game and what I like and what I like to do and what I like to spend my money on. And again, obviously, the direction that Phil and Sarah was going did not resonate with the core base of the Xbox community, and a lot of you guys will push back. I see it in commentary all the time. Well, you guys are just a percentage of the gaming community. You're not the majority. That is true, and I'm not going to disagree with that. The problem is that small minority is the one that drives a lot of this stuff, right? And that's like, and that's a commentary that if you guys want to have that commentary, we can have it. Because at the end of the day, that also shows that gaming is not as root as it is, or gaming is rooted, in that niche, um, population of people that support gaming as a whole, right? As big as gaming is, that niche population should be not the majority. I mean, it should be the majority. It's not, but it should be more than half, right? And that's to me was Xbox's problem. They were trying to go, appeal to a lot of different people, right? And they're appealing to no one. That's why I said in the discussion section what we're going to talk about. There's two paths that Xbox is going to take, right? That they can take right now. Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, I sent you the link on Twitter, bro. If you want to jump in, T-Bot. I could definitely. I know you definitely have something to say about this. If you want to come in, sorry, I know it's Easter Sunday. I had some time off, man. You got to do the services and stuff like that in the morning, man. But yeah, if you want to come in, I sent the link on X. Jump in, dude. Um, just gonna talk about. Yeah, I wasn't aware either. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't planning to do anything today, but I find myself right now in this little space. I was gonna go about an hour, hour and a half. But if you want to come in, I sent it to you on X, and also to Sega Man if he's available. Let me know if you see the link or if I have to resend it. You know how my X account is, dude. My X account is in shambles, man. It's hard for me to communicate. In fact, Realist sent me a message, dude. It took me a while to get to it because I still get stuff from all these other guys that, um, basically it's just junk mail on X and my messages. Oh, my gosh. Okay, okay, no worries. Let me know. But we should set something up, dude. I know we could talk about that. Um, it looks like my overtime for the weekends is gonna be, not every weekend. So I'm gonna have weekends off unless I need to do something, and my boss will let me know ahead of time. Like if I go in tomorrow, he'll let me know if I have to work on Saturday, which I'm pretty sure I won't have to. Right? And it's cool to get overtime, guys, but it's also you need to get rested, right? Because I'm still working overtime during the week, and so Saturday and Sunday, like this Saturday, I didn't have to work overtime, so I was able to get some stuff done that I needed to get done. Brother, what is going on? What do you mean you was in a car accident on Friday night, bro? What is going on? Oh my gosh, bro, what happened? I mean, I know, bro. This is a open chat, so you don't have to tell me now. But hit me up, bro. We gotta talk, brother. What's going on with you, man? It is crazy now. Even here where I live, bro. Like the roads are just. I wanted my kids to drive, dude, and I'm like, nah. We'll wait for. The people are just driving crazy on the roads here. And I live in Hawaii, dude. Hawaii is not a big state, as you guys know. But the way people drive, man, it's just like what happened in COVID. People, there was no cops, there was nobody on the road, so people just drove however they wanted to. I was one of the few people that would go back, that was going back to work. Right, this whole island's shut down. Right? Killed the economy, did really bad. Right, but one thing I noticed when I was driving, man, we have homeless people here now, like a lot. Yeah, see, here we go. My car got rocked. A young kid flying hit me from the back. Yep. Sorry, brother. Sorry. No, I get you, man. I see this all the time. Like I see the accidents that happen here, and when we have an accident here, bro, it shuts down the entire freeway. It's crazy. Look, brother. Like I know you. I don't want you to put your whole business out there. We can talk after. But don't worry about. Look, if you want to, I'm not saying. If you want to come in, brother. But if you're hurting, man, this is not. Take care of yourself. I like you in the podcast so we can discuss that, man. But if you're in pain, don't. You know, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Man, this is so messed up. I see this all the time, bro. Like to me, it's like I wonder how people get driver's license, dude. People don't care. People in their own world, right? People is not doing well, right? Spiritually and emotionally. And these people just in their own world, upset, driving angry. So you gotta drive defensive. That's what I do. I was trained. I was taught that way when I was younger. I was taught to drive defensively. I was taught to drive. All right, brother. No, no, no. It's cool. Yeah. I'm sorry, bro. But yeah, if you want to jump in, please jump in. Sorry that you have to go through this, especially with what's happening lately. But I get it, man. It's just like I drive here, man, and I drive in like heavy traffic, and people are still, and there's still accidents. It's like, dude, how do you guys cause accidents when it's heavy traffic, dude? You should be driving. Like we're not moving, and people not paying attention. People pissed off, or upset. I should use the word upset. Trying to change my verbiage, guys. People upset, not thinking clearly, being careless. No police, right? That's one of the things I've noticed now. Like where I live, dude, the cops are like incognito. I don't know why, dude. They don't want to deal with all the drama, right? Because you see all the stuff that's going on in the news with police officers when they try and enforce the law. Then you have the police officers that, you know, they just don't want to deal with it, right? And then when they do something wrong, that gets blown up too. Which is, if they do something wrong, they should be held accountable, right? But nobody has any faith in authority anymore. That's the main problem. So when these guys go out, they're always getting challenged, right? They're getting sued, especially in the state I live in, dude. These guys use it. I mean, and then the sad thing about it is when something bad really happens, like we're having stabbings here now and shootings. Hawaii is not the same place I grew up in. And I'm not trying to put it up there with some of the other places in the country, right? But I'm just saying, for the environment I live in, that's not how it's supposed to be. And bro, you just don't see the cops until something really bad happens. But then by that time, it's too late. But yeah, brother, jump in, man. Jump in if you can. Links on X, okay? Like I was saying, man, Xbox right now they're at a crossroads, and what road are they going to choose? And it looks like, if I'm being honest, man, especially with the new CEO, when a company like Microsoft makes a change like that, it's big. It's a big change, right? And it has ramifications, right? Butterfly effect. And you see somebody come in, starts off a little small, and then it grows. But in the case of Asa Sharma, she hit the ground running, and it's been growing exponentially, dude. It's like it's like a hurricane. She's coming in. But still, at the end of the day, like, what does that, what choice is Xbox going to make? We see what they're doing, right? They're trying, like I said, they're trying to go back to the 2016, 2017 era, which I'm all for, right? But then also, are they going to commit to that? Again, this is not a rant video. I've ranted enough on my other videos, right? But I just want to have an honest conversation with the Xbox community. I see some Xbox guys have the same concerns as I do, and they're getting lambasted, right? And stuff that we said getting thrown in our faces, which is fine, bro. If you feel that way, then definitely do it. I'm not going to shy away from some of the stuff I said. And like a shout out to Turboverse TV. Been watching some of his videos, man, and I think he's a perfect example of what a lot of Xbox guys have been going through for the last year, that are still kind of dealing with. And for a lot of us, it's just a breath of fresh air to have somebody like Asha come in and start acknowledging things that were just left unsaid. And I think that's the biggest problem that happened with Phil and the crew. And I don't blame them, dude. Look, dude, the internet is a messed up place. I know, you guys know I talk about politics. Dude, I am challenged daily on my politics across the board, right? Like I was just talking to people about gas and energy, right? Where people are just upset about how much the gas prices is. Then if somebody like me comes along and says, well, we did 10 years of green energy, and then people lose their minds and I get attacked, which is fine, because I'm willing to have the debate, or which is technically just an argument with these guys, right? Because people need to wake up, right? And I think when it came to Xbox, in that sense, right, a lot of the people in the core group of the Xbox team just realized that no matter what they said online, it was going to be caustic. This is why I was so adamant in my last several videos, and me and Hebos talked about this. I've talked about this to Sega Man as well. Um, and again, hopefully they can come in. But I was so adamant about this because it doesn't matter what you do, they're not gonna like you. They're not gonna be happy, right? They're not gonna listen to you because for the last 13 years, Xbox has bent over backwards. This is why I stopped following a lot of the influencers that I once liked, right? Because I just realized that they didn't know what was really going on when it came to Xbox and the brand and video gaming in general. That's the sad part, because a lot of them are not gamers. Again, I always say this: a lot of these people are not gamers. They dabble in it, right? Again, the example I use is like me talking about comic books, but I can't go into depth about DC Comics. Even though I think it's sad that I know a lot about DC Comics that most comic book DC guys don't know. But that's just because I've been in comic books for the majority of my life. Much like gaming is the same way for me, right? So when I hear people talk about certain things, right, it's hard for me. Hebot has the same problem. I want to talk for you, brother, but I know Hebot has the same problem, and it's frustrating, right? A lot of these people that talk about gaming are not real gamers, right? And I'm not saying you have to be, right? But what I'm saying is, like for me, when it comes to Superman, there's things about Superman that I like, and that I know about the character, stuff like that. But I'm not gonna have a dissertation about anything DC Comics because I don't know anything about them like I can with Marvel, because I'm more of a Marvel guy. Or how I can talk about stuff with Disney, right? Because I'm a fan, right? And again, bring up the word culture. I lived in that culture, right? Um, if you're a fan of anything, it's one thing to be in a genre, right? Like you love movies, right? You love movies, but not everybody likes all movies. Some people gravitate to certain types of movies. Some people love romantic comedies. Some people love dramas. Some people like the docu-series kind of stuff. Like for me, it's always been science fiction, right? I love movies in general, so I watch a lot of different movies, right? Kind of like a jack of all trades kind of thing. But if I had to pinpoint certain things I like, right, I would have a specific genre that I would like to talk about. Okay. So when I say that though, so of course because I spend more time or I'm more into that, I tend to know more about that certain genre. Even though movies for me is a bad example because I know a lot about because I like movies in general. I like Hollywood industry, kind of like gaming. Right. That's how guys like me and Eba can talk about gaming because we like more than just we're Sega. Hardcore Sega fans definitely. Right. We occupy the Xbox space. Transition from Sega definitely. Right. We're all that. Right. But I mean, we also like the industry as a whole, the business, the culture, all the thing that encompasses gaming. So that's what we talk about. That's what I'm talking about right now, right? And so for me, it was hard to see Phil and the crew, man, just kind of sit there and take it. Again, man, like everything everybody complained about since 2013, since the Xbox One launch, Microsoft would eventually address every single thing. And sometimes they address that on multiple levels. For example, right? They wanted Microsoft to have more AAA titles, right? And then when Microsoft was working to get the AAA titles, like Tomb Raider, and made it exclusive, they got blowback from that, right? So the hypocrisy is what drove me nuts the most, and especially those first few years after Xbox One, and because deep down inside I knew what people were. I know that what it was, and Hiba talks about this all the time. It had nothing to do with what Xbox was doing or was not doing. It had everything to do about what happened in the 360 generation, as Hiba always talks about, and how Xbox put a dent in the Sony empire. This is why I'm so adamant about Sony needing to disappear. Is if we don't get them out of the industry, or if we don't get them at least like if on the bench, right? I'm not talking second place, third place. I'm talking on the bench, like 1 foot in the grave, right? This stuff will never change, right? This is what you see all the time, dude. Even on guys that are supposedly pro Xbox channels, because a lot of them are younger than me, Hebot and Sega Man, right? By about 20 years. A lot of them grew up in that PlayStation generation, right? So that's all they know. Like their whole bias is based on PlayStation to the point where they'll say something and think that's gospel, even though it's not, because that's all they know. That's how they grew up. I mean, their first console was a PlayStation, probably the PlayStation 2, or most likely the PlayStation 3. As irritating as these people are, right? And this is and they're always on the defensive for Sony, never admitting when Sony and this is why when it finally collapses, dude, these are the people that are going to be crying the loudest, and they're going to be the most hateful because they pay more attention to Xbox than they do their own console. Their console has no games, right? Their consoles are closing studios left and right? Sony's not making money, right? Now, if they took that, attention that they put on Xbox and put it on Sony, it'd be an eye-opening moment for them. But then again, that's probably why they don't do it, right? Some of these guys know that and they don't want to deal with the truth, right? Because if a company like Microsoft is hurting and their Xbox brand is hurting, dude, where do you think Sony and Nintendo are? Even Nintendo's getting blowback now for some of the decisions they've made. And again, it all boils down to money. A lot of people are not happy right now. If the economy was better and people had extra cash in their pocket, you'd probably get less drama, right? Everything right now is tied to, like, look at what happened with gas prices are high right now, right? And then everybody's like, oh, it's because of the war. That's one part of it, but there's more. There's more mechanisms in place other than that, right? I've seen other foreign countries complaining about the U.S. and the Iran war. And I'm like, no, well, yeah, that is. You can complain about that, right? Because you're getting your oil from there. But it's also the alliances that you made or the alliances that you broke, right? Right. So some of you guys shifted your alliances to other places, right? And now those people who didn't have your best interest at heart, they're hurting now. And now you're hurting because you made that decision to go with them, right? This is not a one size fit all thing. And it's the same thing with Xbox, right? I mean, there's some things that they can do from the jump, right? Right now that I think Asha is focusing on that can really help the brand, right? And can really get them back on track. But at the end of the day, like, where are we going with this? That's my concern right now. Again, I want to give them their flowers. Very positive. Some of the stuff they're doing. They're gonna bring back FanFest, which I think is cool, right? And the interesting thing is she just threw one out there. I like how she does it. I like her modus operandi. And Phil did the same thing. Let's be honest. Right. I think what's happening though that Asha's a little bit more calculated, which I think is important. For example, she's gonna put the games out, right? Under Phil and Sarah, and I didn't have a problem with this, like, because at the end of the day, I knew a lot of the stuff that people complained about again, between 2015 and 2019, 2020, actually 2020, let's say 2014 to 2017. Xbox needs their own studios. Well, Xbox needs to make AAA bangers, right? That was a bunch of crap, and you see that now. And none of these guys, dude, all these dudes that talked about this crap, none of them have come out with a video and then repented for for the bogus information that they're putting out. Because at the end of the day, you can be a gamer, you can be a hardcore gamer, and that's what you like, but that's not what the audience wanted. And that was so obvious. That's why I always talk about COD on this channel, right? COD is a great equalizer. And then what everybody did, like, even though the so-called quote unquote gamers were saying this stuff about the industry, they were wrong, right? Because and the industry didn't listen to them anyway because everybody went to live service games, right? And so that was wrong. Then they said Microsoft needs to not just have AAA games, but they have to have their own studios. Microsoft did that. They need to build the most powerful hardware. They did that. Microsoft did every single one of these things that the people did. And what did these people do? Spit in their face. And at that point in time, look, this is the way I am. Like, I internalize stuff myself. So when something's going on, I look at myself first. If I need to make corrections, then I make myself. I do the corrections to internally for me, right? I need to change how I spend my money. I need to change how I address, like I do with my kids. All this kind of stuff that you do, right? To make sure that you're in check. And this is biblical too, right? To, take the beam out of your own eye. That way, when you do that, and then when things are still going around you and it's chaotic and stuff hasn't adjusted, then at least it's not you, right? And then you can look at it at the bigger picture and say, okay, where can we make these corrections? And that's what Microsoft never did, or Xbox never did. Xbox. Excuse me, the Xbox team never fell. And again, I'm not hating on Phil. Phil's a great guy, right? This is just the one thing I think in 2018 going into 2020, and I think that's what ended up happening with some of the people, right? That they realized this, but they couldn't really say it because they weren't, that was not what the leadership at the time wanted to focus on. Again, bring up the Peter Moore interview with Phil Spencer, and Phil Spencer, kind of told, looked at him and like, let's not talk about that way. That's when you're in when you're in a console war like we are, even though people want to deny it or not, we are, right? Dude, you got to be aggressive, right? And we just weren't aggressive enough. Right? No, you don't have to be aggressive as me. I'm kind of on the far edges of this kind of stuff. Dude, I want Sony destroyed, but I realize that, and I can't admit it, right? So, but at the end of the day, the people on the other side won't admit that all that what we were doing was not working because they never realized that the people didn't really care, right? Xbox is just this big punching bag, and the reason why in the case of some companies like Sega, right, when Sega was getting trounced right back in the day and they folded, right? It's just the only reason is Microsoft has money, right? Even now, their stock is down. They still have money. I mean, it's something for them to ponder, and that's the thing. Of course, I tell you guys all the time when you're an Xbox fan, Microsoft looks at the bottom line, right? It also keeps them very their cash flow and viable, which is a positive. But at the end of the day, when I'm looking at Satya and they really want to compete, and I see what they're doing with AI and energy and their microchips and all that crap, dude, they're no holds bar, man. They don't take no prisoners. And I think that again, like I said in previous videos, they need to do that with their Xbox brand. Why not? Like people hate you anyway, and you're not getting a fair shake. And at the end of the day, that's what Phil and them tried to do, man. But it didn't matter what they did, man. Even up until Phil left, man. And like the Game Awards, perfect example, still getting treated like trash, right? And again, I know they're on the higher road. Sometimes when you're corporate like that, it doesn't affect you as much. But at the end of the day, when they made these decisions, then the only thing that, again, like we talk about all the time on this channel, whether it's movies, right? When I'm talking about Disney Marvel, at the end of the day, the money eventually runs out, and then you have a moment of clarity for a lot of these corporations. Right? They're going on the wrong path. I'm gonna do a video talking about BlackRock that I saw, and then I saw other people make videos on it, and I'm like, dang, I wish I could do a video because the commentary is good on that, right? I mean, you see people shifting, and that's what people need to realize. When the times are great and the times are good, like Phil basically had a blank check. I wish he would have used it in other ways, but he had that blank check, and when times are good, you can, but when times start getting tight, and even Microsoft, their stock is down by what, over 100 points, right? And I can't, look, a lot of that was speculative on what they were going to do in the future, as stocks normally are. But to take a hit like that, dude, that's like a coming to Jesus moment for a lot of people, right? And you see people right now, dude, they're pinching pennies, dude, because they gotta go to work to make money, right? But then they gotta also pay for gas, right? Heaven forbid something happened to your car, right? And then you gotta cover that, or you get a flat tire, because when you get a flat tire, right, they want you to do 2 tire change, right? So, like little stuff like that. Now, naturally, when you have money in the bank and times are good, life is good, you don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? But when things are not good, bro, that's just the reality of it. And so hopefully, again, man, I see them. I see Asha doing everything. FanFest was great. She put the feelers out there. Then it came back that people would want more. Right? They were like, "Oh, what about us in like I think it was Brazil or Mexico?" Right? And the funny thing is, dude, is I think it would be better for them to do Brazil or Mexico or another country because those guys are hardcore and they're appreciative of the brand. I'm not saying we have our hardcore fans here, man, and it's a U.S. company, so we should do it here. I'm not saying they shouldn't, right? Even though some of these states, man, I would be careful. But anyway, but at least when you saw the event in Mexico, dude, that was refreshing, man, especially for me as an Xbox guys because they get it, right? They're excited about the games, they're excited about the brand, right? They have their own culture in Mexico, and they celebrate Xbox in the same way. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it was a breath of fresh air. Or when I see Gamescom, right? Gamescom is another one where the fans get involved, right? So I mean, it's good to see that quick response, right? Now, what they do with that is the question. Again, I'll go back to that, right? Like it's interesting that the first thing she did was she put Xbox the console, and they continue to do that, which is good. If you've noticed, man, you see some of the old heads coming back in. If you guys on social media like I am, and this is the interesting thing, because I'm on social media for whole other stuff. This is why I've been so distracted. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like I told you guys, man, if you don't give me what I want, right? If I'm in your ecosystem, and I'm not just talking about Xbox, I mean anything. If I'm your ecosystem, if I'm in your ecosystem, I'm your fan, right? And you're not giving me what I want, dude, then I just kind of I'm still there, but I'm not there in the same capacity. And that's what a lot of people are doing on Xbox. I guarantee you. That's why they made that change, and that's why their messaging is different now, right? It's just redux, right? They're just going back to where they had, when they generated the most buzz, had the most excitement, had the fans on board, right? And they're gonna do moving forward, right? And they need to. That's a good thing to put the console, the actual physical console, at the head, right? Because that's how everything should stream down from, and that's what they were losing. That even though Xbox still had Game Pass, even with the price hike, right? They're still putting out their games. They have multiple games, dude. They still do the same thing for indies. They still dropping stuff every month in Game Pass. That's a surprise. Some of it is because the deal's getting worked out finally, and then boom, they just drop it in there. So I mean, again, I always said this on my videos. When it comes to the game aspect of it, dude, right, they got it on lockdown. Right, they got that on lockdown. The most important thing about the Xbox ecosystem is the games, right? And they got that no everything, dude. Even when they do a showcase, like the last showcase did, all that stuff. The only again the misnomer being the whole, this is an Xbox, everything's an Xbox, and to include again, they need to get rid of this, dude. I do not want to see PlayStation anywhere on an Xbox broadcast. Even if you're taking the games over there, I don't care. I don't want to see it. Right? Let PlayStation do their own showcase and then show the Xbox game coming on there. Right? Because it still pisses me off that when PlayStation does theirs, there's no acknowledgement. They only acknowledge their console, and that's what Xbox needs to realize and go back to, dude. They nope. Dude, all it is when you do that is just ammo for this stupid console war. That's all it is, man. Because the only people that talk about this stuff, it's coming to PlayStation. I don't need to buy an Xbox. Right? That's all it's good for. And again, if you're worried about the fan base, man, that alienizes your own fan base. It upsets your fan base. It alienizes your fan base. And again, the thing about that is the worst thing that happens with your fan base is they have apathy. Right? There's apathy, and then they just don't care, right? Because a lot of people, man, stopped talking about this stuff with Xbox versus PlayStation because you couldn't, right? You couldn't because like a PlayStation guy told me, "Oh, we got your games." I'm like, "Yeah, you do, you guys win. You guys are right. You guys win the argument. You guys got it, right?" Right? And I think that was something. If I'm being honest, that's a conscious decision that Phil and were doing. Because Phil can't stand that stuff. I just think his methods were wrong. Again, crap gamer. Just saying, dude. You don't capitulate, dude. You make them bend the knee. Again, I say that all the time on this channel. That's my perspective, though. You guys might disagree, but that's how I feel about it. So I know that they're getting back on track, but they gotta get that. They gotta stop doing that, dude. PC, Steam, I kind of get it, but even then, bro, I don't care. I'm a console dude, right? At the end of the day, I just don't care about any other thing except Xbox, especially now, right? We tried to go the other way. We tried to take the high road. We tried to reach, they reach multiple times across the aisle with these people, and they I already knew, man. They don't care, dude. They want to see you gone, dude. And if you fail to recognize that as the leader of your own brand, and you didn't recognize that, dude, then that's why you look. I love Phil, man, but you're not the right person for this time. And I don't know if Asha is either, man. She seems to be doing the right stuff, and I'm excited, right, about what's going on. Trust but verify, though. That's how I am. I always am. Not just with I'm with a lot of stuff, right? And that's the way I am, dude. You can tell me, but don't just tell me. Show me. And so all the indicators show that they are moving in that direction, man. Getting back to the times when people were excited about showcases, people were excited about what was coming out, and even the games, guys. Okay, so I played Avowed, right? It's probably one of my favorite games of the new crop of games that came out from Xbox, right? I mean, from their main studios and their big titles, right? If I had to put a thing on anything, man, it was what is it called? Dang, dude, I'm old. Shoot, and I have it as my avatar. But there's other games that they've come up with. It's great. But if I'm talking about like the big titles that they have, and some people are saying it's double A, I'll put it up at 3A status. Right? It might not have the same bang as some other titles that some people, or might not be what you expected. That's the other thing that drives me nuts about this. The game is not bad if it's not what you like, right? If it's not what you expected it to be, if it doesn't do what you wanted it to do, right? Like I'm growing, like Hibata will attest to this, and I know Sega Man will attest to this. When we talk about games, right? When we play, dude, there's a lot of games that wasn't our favorite, but they were good games, and we played it because we're gamers, right? This is what I talk about. What true gaming is, right? A lot of people right now they want to, like I played Cyberpunk. It's on Game Pass. I played it a long time ago. I know it was glitchy and stuff like that. I just would say, well, I'll just wait till they fix it. Never went back because I had other stuff going. Never bought the game, right? Because I was just doing other things with in the Xbox ecosystem, playing other games. And then finally, they put it back on Game Pass. I'm like, all right, let me go give it another shot. Since a lot of this stuff, there he is. What's up, brother? I got you.
Hola,
Hey, how are you feeling? Number one, how are you feeling,
bro.
bro? Are you okay,
Back with fucking flex.
dude? Man, getting rear-ended like that, man. Dude,
Yeah,
that's
it was me, my wife, and my son Zach on the car. We're
how's
on
your
my
how's
way.
your oh, how
We're
are
on my
they?
way to pick up. We're on my way to pick up. Wait, stop putting me to Bluetooth. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
We're on the way to pick up my daughter from work.
Sorry, you have to be subscribed to Connected Services to use navigation feature. To learn more about what you can
Hold
ask
on.
me, please say help.
Okay, good. Man, my brother.
And the young white kid, Filipino kid, they were fucking flying. You know, shit. I just got the impact. I was in
Damn,
wrecked my
what
car.
was you?
Tire popped immediately. Lost control, but I was trying to make sure I didn't hit another car on the side.
Yeah,
Finally, when I gained control, I was able to pull up on the shoulders. We thought it would keep going like a hit and run, but it wasn't. He was trying to, I guess, find where he could pull over too. You know, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It was my fault. I'm sorry. I have no excuses." Yeah, you have no excuses. You're going like 75, 80 miles an hour.
yeah.
You
I
just,
told you. That's what I was saying earlier, bro. It's just like the me, just all about in their own world and stuff like that, not caring about everybody else around them.
it's the younger generation, brother. I'm sorry. Unless they were brought up with parents that are very responsible at teaching the dangers, why you gotta be careful when driving.
Yeah,
Most of them don't care. They just think they think it's Fast and the Furious, the movie. That's the problem. They don't understand. You get in a car accident, you can lose your life. Okay? So I'm back. My back. What the hell? The doctor said it was called. My spine. Right. What she said it was called? Oh, the doctor said medical term. Basically, my back was aggravated again because it's swollen. My spine, the arthritis, and the impact
yeah.
hurt my breast, my collarbone shoulder. My wife hurt her collarbone shoulder, her lower back, and one of her knees. And the back, like, I went to
Dude,
the
man.
hospital Friday night. Went to the hospital. Was there till like 6:30 in the morning.
No, I mean, yeah, that's what I was kind of ranting about, man. Just earlier, too. Just people nowadays, man. They're just in their own world.
Bro, you out there is bad.
Yeah, like
It's
where we
already
are, man. Like, I was complaining to my daughter because I'm like, there's no cops on the road now. There's no cops on the freeway, right? They're like incognito, bro, until something bad happens. Then like 30 of them show up. You know, I was
they
like,
don't.
dude, I'm like, why do we even have a police force here anymore? You
The
know what I'm saying?
cops hide. The cops are hiding because every time they do something, people want to say that they got it. Like
Yeah,
they're doing something bad. Everybody keeps accusing them of doing something bad, so they hide it. They
yeah,
don't even want to help nobody because they scared they lose their job, their career, whatever else.
yeah. It sucks, bro, because then we all suffer. So I'm kind of like, oh, dude, we'll get rid of the police force and let us police ourselves. That's where I'm at right now, right? You know what I'm saying?
You can't really blame them. They're paranoid mode.
I
You know
mean,
what
they
I
got
mean?
to do something, though. But here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with them, right? So it's almost like that parent that'll always discipline the good kid, right? But ignore their bad kid. So then the rest of us have to deal with the bad kid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how it is right now with the police force. Like if I have a confrontation with somebody, right, and then I do something and that person calls the cops, even though he instigated it, he was the problem. The cops will come talk to
Right,
me. Okay? So that's why I'm like, dude, why are you even here, dude? You guys are just in my way at this point, right?
right, right,
Like you guys are the authority. So with authority and their power, right, comes responsibility, right? And it
right.
comes, and then that's you have to deal with it, dude. That's what your job is.
Absolutely,
You know what I'm saying? I'm
absolutely.
sorry that we live in a piece of trash society with a bunch of liberal left-hard losers, right? But at the end of the day, you're still the police, and this needs to be handled.
Absolutely. You have to do
Right?
your job.
You have to do your
Fuck
job. Yeah.
people say, yeah.
Anyway, not to get off on that rant, but
No worries, no worries. I, you know, we understand each other very well.
yeah, dude.
We don't suffer from getting offended over politics over here.
Yeah, dude. I can't deal with it
If you
anymore,
know
man.
what I mean. If you know what I mean.
I do. I have no patience. And it's Easter Sunday, so I'll try and be more reserved. You know?
Absolutely. It's a beautiful, God bless,
Yeah.
beautiful day, beautiful day,
But
special
at the end of
day.
the day, man, I can't be suffering no fools anymore. I just can't. I just can't handle it. I just
And
can't.
then everyone.
But
Now,
I
what
mean,
we were talking about earlier, because I didn't really get to catch everything.
no, I just okay. I'm glad you're here. So how do you feel? Right, like I'm saying, at a turning point, right? I see what Asha Sharma is doing. I see what Xbox is doing. I think they're trying to go back to 2015, 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Phil Dem was firing on all cylinders, or getting
Mm-hmm.
there, right? They launched, and the excitement, the buzz, right? I see what they're doing, and I do like it, and I want to give them credit for that. But I feel like we're still at a crossroads, right? Are they going to continue? I mean, they can do this, but are they going to go all the way? Right? Are they gonna go full like 100%, or are they gonna do the middle of the road thing, which I don't want to see. Right?
I have a feeling because they. Oh, God, explain it. I feel like because they've done. I don't just all get out, and then I just meet up with you. Let me pull up to the front. Wait, hold on. I feel like they got themselves in too deep, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I think is going to happen is I think they're going to probably completely axe off what they were doing with PlayStation, but they'll keep on feeding the PC side, which I honestly don't want them to do because I think PC guys, not all of them, but a majority, are entitled little bitches that think that that somebody owes them something or somehow. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I see them kind of losing their mind over Steam. Has
Yeah,
something
yeah,
happened?
yeah.
Yeah. So like Steam raising their prices. Well, what's going on? Do you know?
And not only that, but they swear up and down that every developer or every company has to give them money.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Or not money, but give them games.
Yeah. Like cater to them. Yeah.
Like, oh, you got to give us games because we are the elites. Like, bro, when you tell PC person that it wasn't PT who established gaming, it was console. Do you see how they flip out? I don't even know. They flip the fuck out, bro. They get so mad. What the fuck? The games are made with the PCs. Yeah, that's fine. But it wasn't the PC community who built gaming to what it is today. That is why developers always cater to the console market first, because the console market is the leading platform for games, meaning people buy consoles to play video games and only video games. Whatever else is able to be done on a console is a bonus. A PC is not bought right away just to play video games. A PC is bought for many different situations, for work, for jobs, for schools, for daycare centers, for whatever the case may be. PC is an open platform. It's a computer. It's not for games. You can make it to play games, but that is not its first priority. So when you go in the market, you see people buying a computer. They're not buying it with the idea, oh yeah, I'm gonna play the next Halo or the next years or the next Uncharted or God of War. That's not what they're doing. Or even the next Mario. No, they're buying it to whatever purpose they need first. And if it just so happens that that person plays video games, they have the option that they can build it up to play video games. A
You know
console's
the
sole
one thing.
purpose. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. You know the one thing I noticed, like for example, when they stream, right?
Mhm.
So I noticed some people stream because it's easier to stream off of a PC, right? But they build
And
their
even
channel.
and even then, why are they doing it, brother? Why? Why? They're not
Yeah, yeah,
streaming because they care about video games.
yeah,
They're not streaming because they love video games. No, They're streaming because they know it's a pathway to make money.
Yes,
All they
yes.
care, that's all they care about. And that's
Like
the
I
difference between a gamer and what so-called gamers are of today. Go ahead. I'm
I can
sorry.
count on, yeah, I can count on my hand like 5 people that I know that are actually gamers that do it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
but a lot of them also, even though if I'm being nice, they fall into these categories of specific genres that they like.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm on social media, and I do enjoy the influencer aspect of it. The problem I'm having, again, and I've been complaining about this for a while, is the actual gaming culture,
Hmm.
right? When it comes to
Yeah, yeah,
people that are in our ecosystem, right? That are in our
yeah.
sphere, right? And that's why I do. And then the thing that irks me the most about these guys, because when we were growing up, dude, there was just this thing that we learned, and we probably got this from our parents, and it's our generation. Is if you didn't know something, you just kept your trap shut, right? You
Yeah,
just kept your mouth
yeah,
shut.
yeah. Yeah,
We live in
yeah.
a generation now of people
We
that just
we
have opinions.
knew we knew our place.
Yeah,
We didn't want to act like, oh yeah, we know when we didn't know, and a lot of that. But again, the problem with that, brother, to add to what you just said, the problem with that is that comes from the fact that people have, you know, what you call that shit, because people have, you know, people have, holy crap, social media.
right, right, right.
That's why that problem exists now,
Yes,
because these guys think, I'll just look it up on YouTube. I'll just Google it. That they know the
it's a
answers to everything. And that's the biggest problem that we have today. Social media, having accessibility to go look something up, they automatically assume, I know this because I can get an answer from Google.
if I
Google should
watch a
come.
video by somebody and I know that they're under 35, I'm
Yeah.
already suspicious. You know what I'm saying?
Right, 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 right.
I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So, and
Well, it's
again,
like that.
it's not because of your ages. It's just because you weren't there. You just
Yes,
weren't.
you weren't. And,
You
and
weren't
for
there.
us, and for us, it wasn't given to us. Like, here, take this on a steak. No, we
Yeah.
had to learn it. We
Yes.
had to embrace it by learning it. We were part of it. It's a culture that we had to be part of for so many years in order to even be where we are today. Like everything we know is from living it. Like you said, we lived it. Well, it's
And
like,
I told my
and I don't
daughter.
mean,
No, I told my daughter because she was taking a history and video games course.
yeah.
We
Mhm.
talked, man, and I was happy to talk to her about it because I had to fill in the gaps for her, right? Because it's a textbook at the end of the day, and it was a great. Don't get me wrong, it's a great textbook. It's great class,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
good to talk to her to just kind of fill in the gaps. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I talk about, like when I'm looking at our industry as a whole, right? And like you said, look, dude, and I don't want to be like the grouchy old guy here and stuff like that. I mean, just some
You
of this
know,
stuff needs to be
I
said,
think
but I'm cognizant of the fact that gaming's also moving on, right? And I don't have a problem with that, dude. What I can't stand is the hypocrisy and the lies. That's
right.
what drives me nuts. At the end of the day, so
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Well, it's like when I'm looking at these people that are doing reactions to the He-Man trailer, right?
hmm. I didn't even see it yet, but go ahead.
You know, they're doing reactions, and I'm like, okay, I'm noticing a lot of young people, right?
Yeah,
Which in my mind, I'm like, you know, that's a good thing because it's getting awareness, right?
yeah,
But immediately, I know, wait a second, they're doing reactions because if you notice, reaction videos accumulate a lot of viewership, right?
yeah.
Which tells me they're not really doing it because they care. They're doing it because they want to get views. Then I hate the ones that are worse are the ones that are like, that are from our age, right?
Yeah,
Our age bracket, right? And they go, oh, I was a big He-Man fan since I was little. I love He-Man. This and that. I used to have all the toys, right?
Yeah.
And then when they talk, they only mention like two things. I had Castle Greystone, Ram Man, and then like, oh, and this other dude that his head would go up. Right there, you're telling me you're not a real He-Man fan. Shut the fuck up. You're not. Especially if you were from that generation and you're claiming that you had the toys and played with them. No, no, you didn't. You're not gonna forget it.
No,
I'm
so
not a
that's what I mean, right?
I'm
Like,
not a
like
Transformer. I'm not a Transformer fan like GI Joe the way I am a He-Man fan, but I know every GI Joe character. I know every GI Joe Transformer toy and all the main characters because I had played with the toys and I had them, and I remember them. And I'm 50 years old, as you know.
mhm.
So why is it that if I'm not really a fan, deep fan of another line of something, comic book, whatever the case may be, but I have the knowledge of it, you don't sit there and tell me, oh, I used to love this. I had this when I was a kid. I had all the toys, and yet you can only mention one or two things, and you don't remember the rest. Like, come on, right there, you're giving yourself away. It just tells me that you had probably a few of the toys when you were young because everybody was buying it because it was popular, but you really were not a fan. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. I think that's the problem with a lot of. I mean, look, I watch a lot of influencers' reactions, right? And you can tell somebody that's kind of being real about it, and somebody
Mm-hmm.
that's just doing it because when you're an influencer and you're a reaction channel, you have to react to a lot of different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a gaming channel, and you supposedly a gamer, right? Then you should have a little bit more nuance in a lot of the stuff that you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the problem I have with a lot of these guys is that I know where they get their media from. It's just like politics, dude. You can tell a person's politics and where they get their news from by what how they talk about topics, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
same problem with gaming, right? Because the general consensus on Xbox being dead, the general consensus that Xbox has no game, general consensus that Xbox is the most expensive console, all of that stuff, right? The Game
Mm-hmm.
Pass, all of these things that all the narratives that are out there, right? That is generated by the gaming media, right? Because
Yep.
that's where these people they got to get your information from somewhere. So either you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be guys like us who've been doing gaming for years, where we can pull out a lot of source just from the simple fact that we game for years. Like to your point with Transformers, the reason why I consider myself a Transformers fan is because of the cartoon and the toys, and then going that extra effort, right, to when the comic books came out to try and do the research online. You know what I'm saying? When the internet
Mm-hmm.
became a thing, or just by word of mouth in our from our generation, it's just being around other fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we get the majority of our information from. So when something comes up that's bogus, right, we know it is, right? Because again, we lived it. And that's the problem I have with a lot of the gaming sites, right? They just go, and that's why I dropped a lot of the guys I watched on the pop culture side, right? Because I just couldn't, because I lost a lot of respect for them, because on in the things that they know, they're great at, right? Like if it comes to movies, that's what they're known for. Like that's their forte,
Right, right, right.
right? Is movies, and they can speak on
It's
them.
like you alluded to me earlier.
Yeah,
They're one dimensional. It's like the streamers. They'll
yeah,
play only Fortnite or they'll play Minecraft and that's it.
yeah. Now, I don't necessarily would have a problem with that if they keep it copacetic and they keep it generalized, right? But then when you're trying to give your opinion, like a bazillion people when with the Xbox price increase,
Yeah,
everybody was making videos, bro. Everybody, and I'm like
yeah,
looking at these people like, dude, what do you know about this stuff, right? All
yeah.
you're doing is you're just copying what somebody else said,
Right,
or right,
right,
or you're just getting your information from the media, which is also wrong, right?
right.
Because it's a
No.
multifaceted thing why the prices are going up, right? And so
Mhm.
it's when you listen to these guys, I lost a lot of respect for people, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Well,
at the point right now where I'm like, I don't want to deal with people that are just making videos to make videos because they see people are getting views because they're getting views off of this stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Like Tyrone Magnus. He's a perfect example.
Yeah,
When Tyrone Magnus did the video for Xbox, when they increased the console,
yeah,
they're like, oh my God, Xbox, how dare they? They know that console ain't worth shit. Mind you, this nigga don't know nothing. He don't play on Xbox.
yeah,
He claims he has one and he don't play on it.
right,
Because if he played on it, he would know that this is the console with the most value. and he tried to say it has no value.
Well, he's the
Right?
perfect example. He did
Right?
that because he had well, because he got the Xbox because people. I think somebody gave it to him. Or, but
Yeah,
he has
he,
people that watch his channel like myself who are Xbox guys. Now I don't need him to pander to me, right? If he wants to be a PlayStation guy, be a PlayStation guy. Talk about PlayStation. I don't
yeah,
care.
yeah, yeah. But I'm trying
What
to,
pisses
I'm trying to
me
get,
off, but what pisses
I'm
me
trying
off
to get
about
to your point.
Magnus,
Go ahead, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, real quick. But what pisses me off about
How you doing?
Tyrone Magnus is that he's not unbiased. He definitely is biased.
You know, he'll say he's not biased, right? But he'll tell you straight up, oh man, only PlayStation got the bangers, the big game, the great game. I'm like, bro, stop. We all know you're just following what everybody else does, because that's the same crap everybody else has said. And that tells me you don't play games other than on PlayStation, right?
Well, that's what I want Asha Sharma to realize, right? Because Phil didn't realize it, dude. He's a perfect example of what's wrong with gaming.
Well, I was
Right?
trying to tell you that real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
What that when he did the video for the price increase, right, for PlayStation, right? His answer was, "Oh man, times are tough. The economy, man, it's crazy." Like, you know what I'm trying to say? He gave the answer using the logic that everybody else said before, that things are expensive,
Mm-hmm.
that they can't, produce, manufacture things the way they normally would, due to the chipsets being limited, or because companies are prioritizing for them to be done for, what's up, man, for like computers first, right? Because the computer market is where they're making more money with those chipsets, things of that nature, using the logic and speaking all about all the details, not just one thing. But when it was with X, I thought, oh my God, these guys are greedy. All they want to do is steal your money, or they don't have a clue because they don't have a clue because they're the ones that nobody wants to buy because the Xbox has no games, there's no value. You see what I'm trying to say?
No, so
Hello?
because again, that's who he is. Right?
Yeah,
So that's
exactly. He's a hypocrite. Say it. He's a fucking goddamn hypocrite.
yeah. So to me, it's like just keep your trap shut and don't talk about Xbox.
All they do.
Right? But for me, what I want Asha Sharma to realize is I want him to realize that that's the people that Phil was trying to reach out to.
Absolutely.
The
100%.
people, yeah, I want her to
Those are the
realize.
people that Bill was trying to reach.
Yeah,
When there was no point in trying to reach them because their mind is already set, like you said 1,000 times.
yeah. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of money. These
Yes.
people are not going to buy your console. They're not going to buy your game.
Yes.
Right?
The
And that's
people you're supposed to be targeting are the new people coming in that are catching interest.
And that's another thing I want to get to, right? Because when I look at the situation, again, I said this a little earlier, right? Is that you have a generation of people of a generation of Tyrone Magnuses, people that grew up,
Yes.
in PlayStation. So
With
and I mean, to the
PlayStation.
point where it's their universe. It's all they know. So when these things happen, it's not a
Mhm.
thing to them for them to be hypocritical, right? Because that's all they know. They know PlayStation. PlayStation is the best. PlayStation is right. Everybody loves PlayStation. PlayStation destroys Xbox, Nintendo, all that kind of stuff, and even PC. That's why they get it from all ends, right? But at the end of the day, all I'm focused on is how do we get our brand up there. And this is one of the main things, man. They need to change that narrative, like you say. They need to recognize the perception of their brand and how, and when they move forward, just don't buy companies, man. Buy companies with a purpose. Like you said with Call of Duty. Like if you just would not have shared it with the PlayStation community, people would have drifted over, right? If you're gonna buy companies, right, and have impact and want to turn around and want your money back and invest in all this stuff, go buy EA because they have all the sports games, right?
Listen.
That's the thing I hope that they realize.
All she has to what she had to do different from Phil, is stop trying to convince the people that don't want to be convinced and that don't care because their mind is already sabotaged. Because that's basically what it is. Their mind is sabotaged, right? Because the difference between those type of people and somebody like me and you, right? And like let's say our brother Sega Man Unlimited, right?
Yeah.
We'll get a PlayStation, even though you said you would never do it, and I respect you so much for that. Right? I respect you tremendously.
I'm fine. Look, dude. I don't like I say all the time, dude. I don't. That's me. right? I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I respect you for that because that's just hardcore, right? Because
Well, that's so much
you
I can't
know
say.
me, my kryptonite is that these motherfuckers, right, will put games, like Xbox games, not Xbox games, Sega games, for example, right? Or the
Right.
classic arcade stuff like Metamorphic Force that we never gotten in console before, natively, right? And they'll put it on a motherfucking PlayStation or a motherfucking Nintendo,
Yeah.
right? So that's basically why I'll buy those consoles so I can have access to those games. But the reality is, I don't give two fucks. I don't even want to. I wish I didn't have to even buy one because I don't.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to support them. I don't. But unfortunately, because of the way the market is, especially with the Japanese developers, because they're really the problem that they don't want to support an American console. They want to support only Japanese consoles, and then they try to act all innocent. Because if you notice, when they put their games on Game Pass, they put it on Game Pass immediately because they're getting paid up front. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're getting a nice fat check right away up front. But for them to put it there out of principality, right? Because it's the principle of it,
Mhm.
they love not doing that. But yet they'll do it for PlayStation and they'll do it for Sony, for the Nintendo Switch. And that's why I say this, the bullshit and the hypocrisy that even the gaming media, so called of today, never ever put it out there. They never show it to the audience, to the casuals. They never explain why. You see what I'm saying? And that's why people like us are scrutinized because they don't like the fact that we'll throw it out there and throw it on in people's faces because it's the truth, and then they don't want to hear it. And in order for them to detract people from listening to it, they go, "Oh, they're just fucking shills. They're just haters.
Well,
They're just delusional." You get what I'm trying to say?
I think Japan's finding the harsh lesson that a lot of people are realizing is that people say a lot of stuff, but they don't do it. So people tell you that they want
Mhm,
Japanese games. People tell you that they're gonna buy your stuff, and they
mhm.
don't, right? And that's a big
Yeah,
problem. I mean, I'm
yeah,
talking not talking about hardcore guys like us. I'm talking about like in general people,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and that's what Xbox learned. Xbox learned that they're like, look, dude, it's great to have the normies on board, right? That's good. But at the end of the day, man, when stuff goes on, like your stock is down by 100 points, right? And then people are doubting your AI clout, right? And the stuff they're doing with that. That at the end of the day, man, it's gonna be the guys like us that's gonna get you through the tough times. So
Yeah, yeah.
and for Japan, look, I hate to tell people this, man, but Japan, when things go bad for them, they internalize stuff. So if you think it's bad now, just wait. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I mean, Square Enix learned the hard way, and look at now. Now they're glazing and putting stuff on Xbox.
Yeah, and something, and that's a good thing. Hopefully, other people do that. I won't hold my
How
breath.
long has Square Enix always ignored Xbox for like 20 fucking plus years?
Oh yeah, yeah. They have to
That's
get rid of. They have to do a total shift in their management to change, right?
what I'm saying.
Yo, brother, who was that? Oh, I forgot the name of the guy. Our fellow Xbox dude that came on the podcast a long time ago. The anime dude, um, the
Anime,
artist.
dude.
And I forgot, dude. I don't know, dude. I'm bad. I'm so horrible, but I'm
Think
getting
about Zobi.
no, not Zobi. Yeah, Zobi. I'll never forget. The other dude, the other dude. I mean, I still love Zobi, man. I still watch his videos, right? I mean, but I mean, the other guy that used to come on, man, the brother that used to come on. I forgot his name.
With us? Oh, you talking about J? No, not J Long, right? J Long.
Oh, no, 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 no.
He like
And
anime, you said?
yeah, well, he's an artist too. In fact, we used to talk about that. In fact, we used to have a long conversation. That's when my podcast used to go viral.
Not Gogo Pole. No, not Gogo Pole.
Not Google. No,
Not Gogo Pole, right?
right. No, not Google. Hey, what's up, Anthony? Sorry, this is late. Anthony said, "What's up?"
Hey, Anthony, how are you, brother?
And then we got. I just found out that Japan PS5 is manufactured in Japan, but international PS5 is manufactured in China. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
So
they
what
do
Japan
that.
did, what Japan did was they outsourced all their stuff. They followed us and outsourced all their stuff. That's why the quality of their stuff dropped, especially their Sony stuff.
Yeah, you got about 4.
But I think that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
Say this. They're gonna do that because they're trying to boost their own economy. Dude, their defense industry is booming right now in Japan. They
Hmm.
won several contracts for their battleships that they build. They actually beat out Germany and some couple other big countries. The U.S. doesn't really do that, man, because we don't really we like Japan is one of the few countries we share our stuff with on that level.
Hmm. And I'm surprised that they even have a woman prime minister running the country.
Yeah, well, she's hardcore. They needed
Yeah,
it.
no, but I'm saying, you know how the fact with the, especially when you look at the history of Japan, how they've been
So
they've been very,
that's what I talk about when it comes to the shifts with Japan.
yeah, yeah, like, you know, they've been very anti-women. They treat the women, you know,
Oh, so
discriminatively.
yeah, so
You know what I'm trying to say?
well, their culture is patriarchal, right? And they like it that way, right? It's just
Yeah,
like how we try to go to the Middle East and change Muslims and Arabs, right? That's
yeah,
their culture. That's how they are. So the thing about what's happening in Japan, right, is that they're looking because they're having so much problems with foreigners and tourists, right?
hmm,
And things that are going on in the streets. Their peace is being disturbed, and when that happens, dude, like I tell you guys all the time, dude, Japan, they smile and they nod their head and they agree with you, but deep down, dude, that's not what they're feeling.
right,
And
right.
they went with a prime minister that's a hardcore right person for their politics,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
For their politics, just because of those when their peace like that gets disturbed, dude, they shift, right? And
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't care; they will shift at one time, and that's
Well, look,
the thing they can do because they're 99.9% Japanese.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. You mean they're like 10% American or whatever, or everything else, and 90% Japanese
So Cogway
in
Cygnus says
what they do?
Japanese in Japan PS5 has a better quality. But I agree. I agree. They do have a better quality build, right? But
Of
it's
what?
only for. But I mean, where are they selling the Japanese one? Only to the Japanese public. That's kind of Last point, right? Those games are
Hmm.
made by Japanese people for Japanese culture, so
Yeah,
that's why
yeah,
they don't care if it goes outside.
yeah, yeah. They take pride in when they
Actually,
do it in for them over
yeah,
there. They
I'm
take
telling you,
pride.
dude. Yeah, it's gonna come so bad that you're gonna have to learn Japanese to watch anime at some point.
Probably.
Because they can't stand when they send their stuff over here and they have translators here that add their crap to their creation and they're pissed about that. Japanese artists, the creators don't like that. Like they'll have some freaking libtard that's a translator and that'll translate their stuff to like this person's homosexual, this person's supports the
Yeah,
Democratic Party,
yeah, yeah.
right? They're doing stuff like that, putting it into the anime, right? Then that pisses the
Hmm.
Japanese off because don't touch my crap, right? So what the Japanese are going to do is they're going to rely on AI for the translations. It looks like, but if the AI thing doesn't work out, dude, then you're just going to have to learn Japanese.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is
Because
what we're talking about, dude.
they take pride in their stuff. They don't like their stuff being disrespected or
Yeah,
changed. But that's the way it's supposed to be with everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the whole America and specifically is they're fucking lost in translation. Like we're listening to the fucking retards that make no sense.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how it got that way. Like, why are we listening to the people that got no brain cells?
Well,
That are
I can tell you
worried?
for gaming. I can tell you for gaming is because it became popular.
Oh yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. And
Just
also
like
for
for
gaming
culture in
is
general.
because again, and also because of gaming, for gaming it became about making money. I keep
Yeah,
telling people, well, why is so why they want to go digital so much? Why they want to do it? I was like, because of streaming. People want to make money streaming. That's what they're looking at. They're looking at the possibilities of making money, and that's it. They don't no longer treat gaming as what it is, an art form, something that is important to many people as far as what is done for them personally in their life. Something that's recreational, that kind of liberating, helps you out mentally, physically, keeps you out of trouble. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah.
All those beautiful things that it brings and it does. But
Well, the problem is that popular culture is popular culture, and
that's right.
gaming and comic books and stuff like that was never meant to be popular, right?
Yeah,
So what I
yeah,
mean by that, so like popular culture when I was growing up, um, was MTV. MTV is a great example, right? Because with the way MTV kicked off, it was almost like it was indie, it was punk rockish,
yeah. And
right?
MTV
They
is so
boys,
gone.
It gave a voice to people that artists and stuff like that was out there, and then it became a genre. Then it became kind of a fad, right? But then popular culture is not the majority of what it is. Or popular culture is not that. Popular culture is like the Britney Spears, right, or the Michael Jacksons, or
Mhm.
and I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying like it's supposed to be what's popular, and what's popular to the general public.
Mhm.
That's what pop culture actually is. It's the stuff that
Mhm.
everybody knows. That stuff that everybody. And I'm not. And again, this is not that it's bad, right? Michael Jackson's through their album stuff like you know what I'm saying. It's the best. Another one I could give you is like Metallica, right? If you listen to Metallica, a lot of the people that became Metallica fans came in when Metallica did the Black Album. Metallica fans prior to the Black Album hated that album, most of them, and they hated the fans that came in because of the
Yeah.
Black Album. Because to
Yeah.
them, that's not true Metallica, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. For sure.
right being, it's justice for all, it's that. But that's the difference, right? And so what we're struggling with now with popular culture is that all this stuff that we grew up that was ostracized that people hated, like Ebot saying, right? And all this stuff is that it became popular so that normal people are into it. And that's the influence Ebot's talking about. That's why they have an influence on this stuff. The problem is that the influence is only so much. It doesn't when the
Mhm.
rubber meets the road, right? This is not the people that's gonna push this stuff forward like we are.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Absolutely.
day. Yeah. Like he bought and his 20 million videos on all his collectibles, right?
Mhm.
Still to this day, like, you just dropped another one right the other day, and then I saw you put the
I
He-Man
got
one.
another one coming.
Yeah,
I got
so
a
that's
human. I got a beautiful one coming.
dude. The world could be like we could be starting world. We could be going into World War III, and I guarantee you, man, when World War III will be declared, we're in the middle of a war. A week later, I'm going to go on He-Bot's channel, and he'll have another figure. Right? And he'll do another video, right? Because that's what it means to be hardcore. That's hardcore,
Yeah.
right? A
Yeah.
lot of
Because
the
all the
stuff that
time
you
you try to
sorry
change
guys.
it.
That's what we talk about being hardcore. The world could be burning all around us, right? And I'll still be complaining about why Microsoft did not buy Sega.
Yeah. But we know why. You know why they didn't buy Sega? Because they
I
said
do.
they tried to. They said they tried to buy Sega. They said they tried to buy Nintendo. They didn't buy them because they said no. Because they were like, "Nah, you American, you crazy." And you know, Sega's no longer being run by anybody that's in any way, near, shape, or form influenced by Americans.
Well,
You know
I
what I'm
always like to
saying?
believe in the power of money, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
But I'm just saying, I just use that as an
I know
example,
the
right?
power of money, but I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes the Japanese can be so hardcore. You can show them all the money in the world, and they still do stupid decisions. Look at Square Enix. It took them 20 years to figure it out.
I really want to know the story behind that because, like, again, Phil had a blank check, right? And I'm wondering, dude, if he would rather have supported that in that way. You know, like how he did with the dude that did Platinum Games. What's that guy's name? I always forget his name,
Oh,
bro.
Hideki Kamiya.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying?
You see what I
That's
just
not.
did there, guys? That's pop culture. I didn't have to go to Google in 3 seconds. Hideki Kamiya. You saw that?
Yeah, and so that's what I mean, right? It's just that that's what I want to know. Like that's what I'm having hope for with Asha, right? I'm just like, look, dude, just write the check, man. Don't like when I look at her, she executed. Because look what happened, dude. State of Decay dropped a video. They went to Sunny Channel, Sunny Games. I don't know who the dude is, but you know what I'm saying. They did this
Yeah.
long interview, right? They started the show,
Yeah.
talk about stuff, right? And they showed something, and I was like, dude, when's the last time we got that? So it looks like she's gonna be like, you know what? We need to put this stuff out there. We need to let people know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in that same vein, I'm like, okay, well, go talk to these people, right? If they come to you, it's like, you know what? We still want to be independent and we still want to do this. You got to put your foot down, right? Right?
Yeah.
Because at the same time, dude, like, look, the Yakuza, all this, but it still goes to other councils, and in some instances, it goes to other councils and that comes here. That's not a
And I don't-
relationship. It's not a partnership, dude.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You know,
You can't buy somebody and
Yeah.
tell them I'm gonna treat you independently, and then they take their sweet ass time. You can't do that. You have
Yeah.
to set a barrier because then they're gonna get too comfortable and happy. Be like, oh yeah, we good. They're not gonna say nothing to us. No, 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 no. We still got to make the deadline. We're still giving you money, and you got to use it properly, not use it to your convenience and do whatever you want, how you feel like it. That's not how that works.
dude, people are getting fired left and right just for some reasons.
Hmm.
Right? People are getting an email, clicking onto some kind of chat group meeting, and bam, they're gone.
Well, why you think? Oh, and then all these people are doing the fake flipping out mode of, oh my God, they're firing people because of AI. And why you think they're trying to implement AI? Because AI is not going to sit there and waste time. AI is going to get the job done. And they see this and they're like, well, why the fuck we're going to pay these people, right? And pay for them and have them work for 8 years, and then all they have to show is, oh, here is this alpha beta mode of the game. Like what? You know how long ago they showed State of Decay? It's been fucking like 5 years, 4.
Well, even did you watch that interview?
Somewhat, not all of it.
That was a great interview, but at some point he even said that it's like, okay, we got the beta mode. I'm like, beta mode, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Like, exactly.
How is that shit is on beta mode if y'all been working on the game for 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? And that's probably why Oculus said, you know what? Y'all better put out information now. And y'all better start doing the testing and do everything now because you got to get with the program here. If you don't get this done by this time, then we got to cut the project. Now, I bet you that's what she told.
Yeah, bro. Hey, bro. When your stock price drops by 100 points, moment of clarity. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, dude. Look, I want them to have the time and the development and all that kind of stuff, but things are different now. This is why
you gotta put nipping on the bud. You can't just be giving money to people that work for you and they take their sweet ass time. That's not how that works.
Look, when times are good, it's easy, right? Like, but now again, and if you guys want to personalize this, dude, I know a lot of you are like me. It's just like you don't want to go outside. You don't want to go outside your house, right? You go outside your house, right? You go outside your house. It's expensive, right? You step outside your house and you breathe that air, man. That's like $20 right there. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reality that we live in, man. You know what I'm saying? So I get it, bro. I actually believe in the fact of letting great artists be artists, all that stuff at the end of the day. But obviously, when things shifted like the way that it has, you have a new sheriff in town, you have a new person at the helm. That's what you're dealing with right now. And then, at some point, I'm wondering if a lot of this stuff was because of the way that the Phil and stuff was running the crew and the culture that they had there with Xbox. Right? A lot of stuff has come out. Look, I'm not going to hate on anybody, but one thing I do notice when it comes to social media,
I saw that.
A lot of the old heads are coming out. Right? They're all coming back. Right? So, like you see Major Nelson's dropping stuff. I see a lot of people are coming out. I think in support of Asha, but also I think because a lot of the changes that they're making at Microsoft, that they actually.
Did you see the Major Nelson? He said, "I'm so glad to see FanFest come back."
Yeah.
The FanFest tour, and he wasn't saying nothing like that before.
No. Even Stein. Stein actually pushed back on Variety or one of those stupid.
You see, Stein went at these guys again too. That was hysterical.
That's what they should have been doing.
I forgot who said something. It was our brother FaZe. He showed it. He showed it to me. What was it that he said? He said something about. He was talking about. How many was talking about the whole thing about buying games and that it's stupid because you got to buy this and then it works there. And he says, I think it's fantastic. How is it buying one game you get a copy for both places? You can play it in 2 different places is a bad thing. I was like, you make no sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's calling them out. And I'm like, yo, this guy is on rage mode. I'm loving it. This is the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, they should have been doing that, man. And you said it too. You remember you talked about Aaron Greenberg? When Aaron Greenberg came out and then they kind of they kind of shut him down. They need to stop.
No, not at all. That's how I am, man. That's doing me. Thank you, Papa. I'm sorry, brother. What you saying?
No, like you said with Aaron Greenberg, right? When Aaron Greenberg spoke up and then they kind of shut him down.
Even Aaron. Yeah. Nina, look, you like these? These are on clearance for $269. These are on clearance for $269. You like those? Even Aaron went on social, right?
Mm-hmm.
After the thing with Asha, remember when the guy said, get your things, get the fucking, what he said? He said, what's the slogan? with Gears. The Gears song where he cursed.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
and even Aaron, even though he didn't say it by writing it out, but he put LFG. Let's fucking go. You get what I'm trying to say?
No, yeah.
When was the last time you saw Aaron do that? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's what leads me to believe that there was some validity to the way that Phil and Sarah were doing things, meaning probably having a gag order where no, you can't say this, you can't say that, we gotta be nice. How are you gonna be nice to people that spit in your fucking face every single time? That makes no sense. And I always found that weird. I'm like, why is it? I get that Phil's this way, I get it. But how is it that he doesn't realize that at some point we gotta stop this because they're making us look like idiots?
Yeah. I think he did realize it, but that's his style.
Like, bro, like, no, stop.
Yeah.
You don't hold your wife's hair while somebody else is putting it up her asshole. That's not how that works. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That's just not a reality. That is not a reality for any business. It's business first. You want to win. You talk about you want to make money. You want to win. You want to win your audience. You got to show them that you care about your product first and foremost to yourself. You can't just sit back and be like, oh, yeah, it's okay. No. You cannot do that. That's not how that works. You got to be aggressive and you got to show that you have the means to fight back and that you're not going to tolerate that bullshit. It goes Phil with the kumbaya shit all the time. And then nobody's saying nothing. Everybody's staying quiet. You saw nobody on social from Xbox. And ever since Asha came in, everybody on social that was on social before from Xbox has been talking. And like, you see?
The best
What is
person
the
that
difference?
come out, the best person that came out first and then come out was Peter Moore, dude. That was awesome.
Oh, Peter Moore was amazing. Peter Moore was fucking... Peter Moore, for me, and I've said this in my video, if you saw the last video I did.
Yeah.
For me, Peter Moore will go down as the greatest CEO in video game history. Like, I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
That man fixed EA. That man fixed Xbox. That man helped Unity. Everywhere he went, that man did miracles. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he got the job done. And what was considered the greatest generation for Xbox? The 360, where he came in and he did what he did. Right? What did he do during the 360? What did he do during the 360 era? He was aggressive. He was no balls to the walls. You want to play with us? This is what we're gonna do. And he used the money and the power and used it. So how are you gonna keep discussing and arguing that aggression and being straight to the point and not playing no games? How are you gonna argue that it doesn't work? When we seen it and we witnessed it firsthand, it worked. It worked so bad that Sony had to do like 6 different iterations of the PS3 in order to continue selling. And they had to keep dropping the price. People seem to forget that the only reason the PS3 even caught up in sales with the 360 was because they were selling that shit for like $189. Meanwhile, the Xbox 360 core that only brought the console, it didn't even have a hard drive, was $250 at the end of the generation. It was still $250. Well, the PS3 was $189. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And they took out all those little fucking stupid features that they were promoting from the beginning when they were telling you you're going to have to get 16 jobs to buy a PS3. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Yeah, people got 16 jobs. You mean you guys lost all that money, got all that diminished return, and had to fucking adapt in order to survive, because they know that's the first thing they said, that they don't know how they were able to survive the PS3 era because they lost so much money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what made them lose all that money, huh?
That's what Asha should do. Asha, if there's a blueprint, Asha, you should follow.
That's right.
Just follow up. Peter.
Right.
It's fine.
That's right. Because listen, if Asha can get by Sega, bro, that shit will be one of the greatest things that a new CEO has done in history. Like, that would be crazy. You know what I'm saying? I believe in Asha, man. I'm really thinking positive about this. I believe in Asha.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I was gonna do a video, man. We'll do it next week.
If you,
We'll
if
set up a
you,
podcast because I'm pretty sure I don't have to
really, I
work
don't
on
know what
Saturday.
they're planning to
But I'll do
do.
a podcast with you. Siggy Man wants to jump on, and then we'll talk
Okay.
about root. We'll talk about root gaming. I mean, if you have time, bro. If you have
Joseph,
time.
I think you gotta tell them, Spock. Give me a second, brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, guys, next week I'll do an all-in podcast, or not. What is it? Wrecking Crew. Send. Hope he bought it. Siggy Man can join.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, what's up,
Go
bro?
ahead. What were you saying? What were you saying? That what were you
I
saying?
want to do a podcast next week. I'll set it up next week, Saturday, and well, we can talk about root gaming
Fruit gaming. Okay.
because we can't cover it now. In fact, I gotta go, bro. My daughter's up.
You gotta get going. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta take my daughter. So
No problem. Tell her I said hello, and then I send her my well wishes. Okay.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And hey, man, you guys better take care of yourself, bro.
Oh, I'm trying, brother. I'm trying, but it's just my back is flared up. Like, that's just
Oh,
the impacts. As soon as I got hit, I felt like a jolt of electricity in my back going up my neck, and I couldn't move. I was like paralytic. That paralytic feel.
yeah, because you have a lot of stuff going on too. But I mean, your family's okay, right?
Yeah, my wife got banged up a little bit, but my son was okay. But still, maybe long term we got to see what happens. Maybe some shit pop up. Hopefully not, but
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm just upset because I don't have my car now. My car got robbed. So I don't know if it's gonna be able to be fixed. If it's gonna be a total loss. If I have to buy another car, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm crossing
If
my
they-
fingers. Everything will work out.
All right, my brother. Yeah, I'm sorry you have to go through that. But
No
yeah, dude,
problem.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
All right,
still-
puppy. All right, skate. No problem. Get skating. I'll talk to you later. Give me a call later when you get a chance.
all right, my brother.
We'll talk. All right. Nice talking to you, puppy.
All right, brother.
Peace out. Bye.
Peace. Yeah, thanks for being here. All right, guys, we gotta go. Just really quickly.
I have a
gotta do this,
problem.
but hopefully, everybody have a
Honey,
happy Easter, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Not a problemo.